contribution. The students in my classroom will be led to Christ-like flourishing by making their own unique contributions to God's world. The question will not be, how smart are you, but rather, how are you smart? Learning activities will encourage real-world restoration. All students will use their gifts to serve others with Christ-like empathy. The two applications that I chose for this are not things I've done in my classroom, but are ideas I have for the future that would work really well in the public school. The first would be to begin an internship program with high school juniors or seniors. The program could fit well for advanced students who have exhausted their electives, or even for students who do not enjoy school and feel that their gifts are more suited to the workplace. Each student would be given some autonomy and choice by selecting an internship that fits their interests and career goals. It will allow students to utilize their own unique gifts and demonstrate how they are smart. The hands-on work will bring a significant and impactful contribution to society. Students can begin to recognize their calling through an internship, even if they find that their gifts aren't suited to the particular job. In my program, I would expect students to participate in reflective journaling to help them internalize what they are taking away from the experience. The internship program would afford students the opportunity to participate in real-world restoration in the workplace. This is a part of Christ's redeeming work, yes, even in a public school. The second activity I would propose is a big part of many Christian schools already, but I have not witnessed it in many public schools. A service learning day would be a day away from school in the community or communities surrounding the school. In this program, I would expect a group of students to identify a need in their community and propose a way in which they could use the service learning day to help meet that need. It provides students with autonomy and purpose because they get to choose an activity that might be close to their heart. The activity encourages Christ-like empathy in students because they are being the hands and feet of Jesus. Yes, even in a public school. It would be my hope and expectation that students would have a significant impact on the lives of others and begin to develop a worldview from the experience. In order to help students solidify their own worldview, I would expect a reflective paper or project to follow up the service learning day. The project could be presented to the class, to the school, or even to the parents in the community. I believe that these activities are an excellent way in which a Christian teacher can be distinctively Christian in a public school. I chose the quote from William Shedd that I found in our affirmations book because I believe that students are ships that need to leave the safe harbor of the school. By making real-world contributions, they can begin to see the value of sailing away from the safe harbor. My question to the class is this: how could the activities above bring a student to a deeper understanding of worldview? Competence. The students in my classroom would be led to Christ-like flourishing by becoming competent in essential areas of learning. This will happen only when students are afforded autonomy, mastery, and purpose in their learning activities. Students will gain confidence and sense in an insensible world through pursuing creative, valued, and recognizable results. Students will see connections, think divergently, and thrive in their current circumstances. I chose two very practical ways that I as a business teacher have attempted to lead my students to competence in business and the workplace. The first is a project in my Intro to Business course in which I asked students to make a real-world business plan that would be presented to a panel of bankers. The students get to use authentic and autonomous research by choosing the business, its location, products and services, and all the details of the business. They are expected to contact real people outside of the school for real estate prices, insurance quotes, equipment costs, and so on. This is where I really see students start to begin to think divergently. Each week, students are given a deadline to complete a section of the plan. After submitting the section, they receive timely feedback from me so that there aren't any surprises at the end of the plan. I really believe that this feedback is a great opportunity to start building confidence and competence in my students. The panel of bankers is made up of volunteers from local banks and the business community. They give authentic feedback to the students in a way that teachers cannot. When the project is finished, each student is expected to fill out a self-evaluation, and we conduct a reflective conferences in which students and I discuss what went well and what did not. Although the project can be challenging and time-consuming, I know that it is very sticky. The next confidence-building project that I have assigned is the mock interview in my workplace readiness class. We spend a few weeks discussing job applications, writing cover letters, and preparing resumes before we begin the interviewing unit. We discuss what makes a good interview, practice strategies in class, and bring in guest speakers to share on the topic. I believe that this model of thorough preparation helps students build confidence for the interview. Students interview in the career field of their choice. Members of the local business community conduct the interviews. Again, students tell me that this is a challenging exercise, but they also tell me that they gain a real sense of confidence from the authentic experience. My volunteers have been excellent in providing honest feedback for the students. I've even had a few students begin using the interview as a starting point for networking for careers. Some have even received jobs from the experience. I chose to include the quote from Leonardo da Vinci because I believe that students need to be given purposeful assignments that they can pour their hearts and desires into. My question to the class is this: how can students become more Christ-like in an assignment that never mentions Christ?
I'll be talking about community. The affirmation for community is the students will be expected to have a sense of fellowship, share common attitudes towards education, have similar interests, and strive towards Christ-like goals. Community in the public school setting is dependent on how the teacher portrays the image of community from a biblical perspective. The application of community in the classroom will look like by greeting kids daily when they walk into the classroom, building relationships with those students by interacting with them as they walk in, and also tailoring the information to fit the needs of each student. And a Bible verse that I found that I could use as an application was John 13:20, and it says, "Whoever accepts anyone I send accepts me." And then a question that I have that let you guys think about is, what as Christian teachers can we do to strengthen the sense of community in the public school setting? And when you're doing this, how will this look?
Connection. Where do I belong in this world? And who do I belong to? My affirmation for connections: cultivate opportunities for the power of connection to flourish in the hearts, mind, and spirit of every child. Students who feel connected to someone who have made a difference in their lives will have a more hopeful world and life view. So do an activity called 3 words. Have students or faculty think about the one person who has made the most difference in their life, and in 3 words, describe that person. Have them decorate it and put them on cards, and then post those 3 words around the school building. Or have your students make a 3 words video, using those powerful pieces to make a visual for what someone who makes a difference should look like, sound like, and act. Students who feel they are connected to at least one educator in their school statistically have a lower rate of drug abuse, illegal activity, and emotional or mental disorders. So for a staff project, do a wall of connection. Take pictures of students in a room, and I want each picture to have some space below for all of the staff to walk around and write something to describe that child, something they know about that kid. Every single student should have multiple things written underneath of them. But it's a great visual for those who walk around and see that there are some kids without anything written underneath of their faces. Therefore, we need to make a conscious effort to make a connection, especially with those kids who have barely anything written on there. That means that we have given these kids a disservice. We are not making those connections that we so need to do to keep our kids happy and healthy. Students want to be heard. They will feel more connected when they know that someone cares about what they think, how they feel, and what they believe. So have a blind date lunch. This is where staff and students pick up a colored slip from the lunch line as they go through, completely random. They must sit at the color-coded table that goes along with their slip. Choose 3 questions at the table to discuss in the group at lunch. These questions can be laid out for them. You can choose 20 of them, but they have to choose 3 that they can talk about. Examples would be a favorite dessert or a worst fear, or something a little deeper, like most valued characteristic you want in a friend. But give them opportunity to get to know one another from a different group. Different perspectives, meeting together to have conversation. Conversation that, after that ice is broken, can turn into something really powerful and meaningful. How can Christian teachers restore the image of relationships after brokenness has sucked the heart and soul out of connection to others?
Coherence. Students in the public school need depth in their vision. They need to make sense and see the connection to the bigger picture. Now, as Christians, we understand that Jesus is in control of the huge picture, and we have faith that He knows what He's doing. But sadly, in the public school, we can't proclaim this to our students. So, we need to be able to tell them that there is a bigger understanding between all of the little pieces. My action plan. I would like to bring this sense into a first grade social studies classroom. We will also discuss how we act and treat others in the community. In the community, we need to show love, joy, peace, patience, gentleness, kindness, fruits of the Spirit. Well, in the public school, we can't proclaim the fruits of the Spirit. We can teach these to our children, and that while they're showing them to their peers, they can also go out into the world and show them to others.
What is creativity? And what does it look like? Creativity is a skill that all human beings possess and can be developed, producing something that is both original and worthwhile, expressive and imaginative, forms connections, demonstrates competencies and coherence, and contributes to the world in new and exciting ways. Building, making, doing, shaping, free and expressive, socially interactive, and loving. Nourish to flourish, develop and grow, engage and excite, to bloom where they're planted, and to make a difference and serve. Now those things will develop the passion for lifelong learning, that will prepare students and allow students to participate in a complex changing world by being change makers and ideators. How can this be Christ-likeness in a public school? Or, in a Christian school as well.